Next idiom is investment banks maintain Chinese walls between departments. This phrase describes the strict internal separation banks use to prevent conflicts of interest, especially between departments like corporate finance and trading. It means information flow is tightly controlled. Historically, the term Chinese wall emerged in the mid-20th century within the financial sector, metaphorically referencing the Great Wall of China to denote an insurmountable barrier against information sharing. This practice is crucial for regulatory compliance and ethical conduct in banking. Let's look at how this idiom is used. Our first example is, the law firm implemented robust Chinese walls to ensure client confidentiality between litigation and mergers and acquisitions teams. Here, it highlights how legal firms, like banks, also need to separate functions to protect client interests. Next, we have, without strong Chinese walls, there's a risk of insider trading as market-sensitive information could leak between departments. This sentence clearly demonstrates the critical role these barriers play in preventing illegal activities and maintaining market integrity. Both examples show how the Chinese wall acts as a vital, unbreachable divider for sensitive information.
While Chinese wall is the traditional idiom, you might also hear information barrier or ethical wall. Information barrier is a more neutral and descriptive term, often preferred in modern corporate and legal contexts as it avoids potential cultural insensitivity. Ethical wall emphasizes the moral and compliance aspect of preventing conflicts of interest. Use Chinese wall when referring to the established idiom with its historical context, but consider information barrier or ethical wall for broader, more inclusive professional communication or when cultural sensitivity is paramount. To recap, investment banks maintain Chinese walls between departments, refers to strict internal separations preventing information flow to avoid conflicts of interest. Originating in the financial industry, it metaphorically likens these barriers to the Great Wall of China. Remember, these walls are vital for ensuring fair play and trust in finance and other sensitive sectors. Keep this idiom in mind as you encounter discussions about corporate governance and ethical practices. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is many businesses are moving to cloud computing. This means companies shift data and applications from local servers to internet-based services. The cloud icon from early 2000s network diagrams signifies remote, shared computing. It captures a key modern business technology shift. The phrase applies broadly. A startup might move to cloud computing for cost-effective scaling. A government agency could migrate sensitive data to a private cloud. These show organizations adopting internet-based services to boost efficiency, flexibility, and reflect a major industry trend.
Similar expressions are transition to a SaaS model and embrace digital transformation. Moving to cloud computing focuses on infrastructure. SaaS is a cloud subset. Digital transformation is a holistic strategy driven by cloud solutions. In summary, many businesses are moving to cloud computing describes the significant shift to internet-based services. Originating from the cloud visual, it signifies adopting remote, shared resources. Use this phrase to discuss tech trends and strategic business decisions. It's a key concept in digital business. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is the houses were cookie-cutter designs. This expression describes things that are exactly alike, often lacking originality or distinctive features, suggesting they were mass-produced. The image comes from the literal use of a cookie cutter to create many identical cookies. It became popular in the early 20th century, particularly as standardized building practices and mass production became common, where houses, or even ideas, could seem uniformly shaped. This vivid metaphor helps us understand uniformity and lack of uniqueness. Let's look at how we can use this idiom. Imagine you're driving through a new housing development, and every house looks identical. You might say, all the new suburban homes looked like cookie-cutter designs, making it hard to tell them apart. This highlights the lack of variety and unique architectural elements. Now, consider a different context. His startup's business plan was criticized for being a cookie-cutter design, too similar to established companies. Here, the idiom applies to an idea or a plan, emphasizing that it lacks innovation or originality. Both examples illustrate how cookie-cutter designs effectively convey sameness, whether applied to physical objects or abstract concepts.
We have a few similar expressions. Generic describes something that is not branded and lacks distinctive qualities, often implying low quality or commonness. For example, they bought generic brand cereal. Run-of-the-mill also suggests something ordinary, common, or unexceptional, as in, it was a rather run-of-the-mill movie. While cookie-cutter design specifically emphasizes an identical, mass-produced sameness, generic and run-of-the-mill focus more on lack of distinction or ordinariness. You'd use cookie-cutter when uniformity is the key message. To wrap up, the houses were cookie-cutter designs. Describes anything that is unoriginal, mass-produced, and identical in appearance or concept. Originating from the baking tool that makes uniform shapes, this idiom is perfect for expressing a lack of individuality or creativity. Remember it when you encounter something that seems to have come off an assembly line, whether it's a row of houses, a standard report, or an uninspired idea. It's a great way to critique sameness and highlight a desire for uniqueness. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is co-opetition can benefit both companies. This phrase describes a business strategy where rival companies engage in both competition and cooperation simultaneously to achieve mutual benefits. The term co-opetition itself is a blend of cooperation and competition, coined in the 1990s to capture this modern market dynamic. Let's look at some examples. First, the two tech giants, while fiercely competing in the smartphone market, found co-opetition could benefit both companies by jointly developing a new charging standard. This shows how rivals can collaborate on foundational tech. Second, in the airline industry, code-sharing agreements are a prime example where co-opetition can benefit both companies, expanding their reach without direct merger.
Similar phrases include strategic alliance and win-win collaboration. Strategic alliance refers to a formal agreement, not necessarily between competitors. Win-win collaboration emphasizes mutual benefit but doesn't explicitly convey the ongoing competitive dynamic. Co-opetition is best when highlighting this unique blend of rivalry and partnership where companies simultaneously compete and cooperate. To recap, co-opetition can benefit both companies describes the strategic practice where rival businesses collaborate in specific areas while maintaining competition in others, leading to mutual advantages. This modern business term reflects a nuanced understanding of market dynamics, showing how strategic cooperation can unlock new growth for all parties. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is the company prides itself on being a responsible corporate citizen. This phrase describes an organization that actively seeks to operate ethically, sustainably, and with a positive impact on its community and the environment, beyond just making a profit. It means the company is genuinely proud of its commitment to social responsibility. While not an ancient idiom, the concept of a corporate citizen gained prominence in the late 20th century, reflecting a growing societal expectation for businesses to contribute to the greater good. Let's look at how this idiom is used. Our first example is, our tech startup prides itself on offering accessible products and actively supporting local educational programs. Here, the startup clearly communicates its dedication to making technology available to everyone and investing in community development, demonstrating its commitment to being a responsible corporate citizen. Another example is, despite intense competition, the food manufacturer prides itself on using only organic, locally sourced ingredients. This sentence highlights the company's commitment to ethical sourcing and sustainability, even when it might be more challenging or costly. Both examples show how a company's actions align with its stated values, reinforcing its reputation as a conscientious entity.
While prides itself on being a responsible corporate citizen is quite specific, we have some similar expressions. Committed to social responsibility is a broader term that describes a company's dedication to acting ethically and contributing to societal well-being. It's a very direct statement of purpose. Another phrase is upholding ethical standards, which emphasizes adherence to moral principles and integrity in all business operations. The key difference is that our idiom specifically highlights the company's pride and identity as a good societal member, while the alternatives describe the actions or commitments themselves. To summarize, the company prides itself on being a responsible corporate citizen, describes an organization that genuinely values and actively demonstrates its commitment to ethical practices, sustainability, and positive community impact. It's a relatively modern concept, reflecting evolving societal expectations for businesses. Remember, this idiom emphasizes the company's internal pride and external identity as a beneficial part of society. So, the next time you hear about a company going above and beyond, think about how they might pride themselves on being a responsible corporate citizen. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is the smartphone was a disruptive technology. This means a technology that completely changes existing markets, industries, or consumer behavior, often creating new value. It doesn't just improve, it transforms. This concept was coined by Clayton M. Christensen in his influential 1997 book, The Innovator's Dilemma, to describe how innovation can upset established businesses. Let's see this in action. Our first example. Before smartphones, Dedicated digital cameras and MP3 players were common, but smartphones disrupted both markets. Here, one device's new approach displaced two others. Similarly, ride-sharing apps were a disruptive technology, challenging traditional taxi services with convenience and new pricing models. Both examples illustrate how a new offering fundamentally reshapes an entire industry, changing consumer expectations and business models alike.
Two related phrases are game changer and paradigm shift. A game changer is anything significant that alters an outcome, often positively. A paradigm shift describes a fundamental change in basic concepts or practices. Disruptive technology is more specific. It refers to an innovation that fundamentally reshapes markets and industries, often by initially serving a niche market and then expanding. In summary, disruptive technology describes an innovation that radically transforms existing markets and creates new ones, as brilliantly exemplified by the smartphone. Remember this term when you see an innovation fundamentally altering how we live, work, or consume. It's a powerful concept for understanding technological evolution. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is, social media is a double-edged sword. This phrase describes anything that has both positive and negative consequences, or that can be used for both good and ill. Its roots come from ancient warfare. Picture a sword sharpened on both sides. It's incredibly powerful in battle, offering versatility and cutting ability, but it also carries an inherent risk to the person wielding it if not handled with extreme care. This historical imagery perfectly captures the idea of a powerful tool or concept with inherent duality. Let's explore this with a couple of examples. First, consider how social media impacts our lives. While social media connects us globally and fosters communities, it also exposes us to misinformation and cyberbullying, truly making it a double-edged sword. Here, we see the beneficial aspects of global connection contrasted with the harmful ones like misinformation. For our second example, imagine a workplace scenario. The new company policy, offering greater flexibility but demanding longer hours, proved to be a double-edged sword for many employees. This illustrates how something intended to be positive can still have significant downsides, affecting different people in various ways. Both examples clearly demonstrate the simultaneous benefits and drawbacks of a situation.
When we want to express a similar idea, we might use a mixed blessing. This highlights something with both good and bad aspects, often with negative ones being somewhat unexpected. For instance, winning the lottery could be a mixed blessing if it brings unwanted attention. Another excellent option is a blessing and a curse. This emphasizes the extreme duality of something that is simultaneously very good and very bad. While double-edged sword often implies a tool or concept with inherent danger, these alternatives focus more on the outcomes, whether positive or negative, that emerge from a situation. In summary, social media is a double-edged sword, is an incredibly useful idiom for describing anything with a powerful dual nature, offering both advantages and disadvantages. Its vivid imagery from ancient weaponry reminds us that potent tools require careful handling. So, the next time you encounter a situation or innovation that presents both significant benefits and notable drawbacks, remember this idiom. It helps articulate the complexity of modern life and encourages thoughtful consideration. Keep practicing, and you'll master its nuanced meaning. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is, the company had to downsize to reduce costs. It means reducing an organization's size, often by cutting staff, to lower expenses and boost efficiency. Originating in late 20th century American corporate management, the term reflects strategic restructuring for cost saving and effectiveness. Let's illustrate downsize with two examples. Our first is, after several quarters of declining profits, the tech startup reluctantly decided to downsize its development team. Here, downsize clearly refers to reducing employees due to financial pressures. Next, consider, many traditional retailers are downsizing their physical store footprint and shifting focus to online sales. This shows reducing physical locations, aiming to cut operational costs. Both situations highlight strategic scale reduction for efficiency and cost saving, whether involving people or physical assets in the evolving business landscape.
Alternatives include streamline operations or cut back on staff. Streamline operations focuses on optimizing processes for efficiency, not merely reducing. Cut back on staff means direct employee layoffs. Downsize is broader, covering both personnel and assets. You do use streamline for positive optimization, cut back for direct layoffs, and downsize for overall strategic reduction. To sum up, to downsize means reducing a company's scale, often by staff cuts, to save costs or improve efficiency. Originating in late 20th century corporate management, it signifies a strategic business move. While often implying layoffs, it also covers reducing physical assets. This idiom is crucial for understanding modern corporate actions and economic news. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is the shares were sold through a Dutch auction. This phrase describes a specific type of auction where the price starts high and is then gradually lowered until a bidder accepts the current price or the entire lot is sold. It's an interesting method, originating in the Netherlands. Historically, these auctions were commonly used for perishable goods, like flowers, allowing for quick sales and ensuring the freshest produce found a buyer efficiently. Let's look at how this idiom is used in context. Our first example is, when the company launched its IPO, all the initial shares were sold through a Dutch auction to ensure fair pricing. Here, it refers to a formal process in finance. The company wanted to make sure the shares weren't overpriced or underpriced, so they used a Dutch auction to find the market's true value. Now for our second example, we decided to sell the rare collectibles through a Dutch auction, hoping to attract serious buyers even with a descending price. In this instance, the idiom applies to a different market, collectibles. The seller, despite the unique nature of the items, chose a Dutch auction, perhaps anticipating that a high starting price and gradual reduction would still secure a good sale from eager collectors. Both scenarios highlight the practical application of this unique auction method.
While the shares were sold through a Dutch auction clearly defines a specific auction type, you might wonder about similar expressions. One straightforward alternative is descending price auction, which is a direct description of the process. Another related term is falling price auction, also emphasizing the price reduction. While these convey the core idea, Dutch auction is the established, specific term in financial and formal contexts. Using it adds precision and recognition, especially for those familiar with various auction styles. The other phrases are more general descriptions, useful when avoiding jargon. To wrap up, remember that the shares were sold through a Dutch auction refers to a unique selling method where the price starts high and steadily drops until a buyer is found. Originating in the Netherlands, particularly for perishable goods, it's a fascinating example of how commercial practices shape our language. So, next time you hear about shares or items being sold in this manner, you'll know it's not about geography, but about a specific, efficient pricing strategy. Keep an ear out for this term in financial news or discussions about unique sales. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Next idiom is the company eats its own dog food to test products. This colorful phrase means that a company uses its own products internally to rigorously test their quality and functionality before they are released to customers. It highlights a commitment to product quality, ensuring employees experience what customers will. The idiom emerged from the American tech industry in the 1980s. Popularized by Microsoft, advocating that developers should use their own software. This approach guarantees that a product meets high standards and functions well in real-world scenarios. Let's explore how this idiom works in practice with a couple of examples. First, before the software launch, the development team truly ate their own dog food by using the beta version daily for all internal communications. Here, the team isn't just coding. They are actively experiencing the software as an end user, finding bugs and suggesting improvements. Our second example is, our marketing department believes in eating our own dog food, so they proactively utilize all our new analytics tools for their own campaign tracking. This shows commitment. By using their own tools, they directly validate the product's effectiveness and usability, proving its value both internally and externally. It's about genuine immersion and validation.
While eating your own dog food specifically refers to companies using their own products, similar expressions exist for broader contexts. Practice what you preach is a great parallel, meaning you should do what you advise others to do, like a consultant using strategies they recommend. Another similar phrase is lead by example, meaning to act in a way others should emulate. While these two have a wider application to personal conduct or leadership, eating your own dog food zeroes in on product development and corporate integrity. All highlight authenticity, but with different focal points. In summary, the company eats its own dog food to test products, means a company actively uses its own creations internally to ensure they are robust and ready for the market. This practice, popularized in the tech world, demonstrates a strong commitment to quality and customer experience. By embracing this approach, companies gain invaluable insights, refine their offerings, and ultimately deliver superior products. So next time you hear about a company truly believing in its work, remember this vivid idiom and how it signifies real dedication, I'll see you next time with another great expression.